Hi, this is Rea Frey, author of Not Her Daughter, coming out August 21st. And today I'm going to talk about my journey to publication. I think this is always so fun to hear about people's personal stories on their journey to publication. Mine's kind of a crazy one, a little fast and furious. I went to school for fiction writing, graduated back in 2004, so a million years ago, and got a degree in creative writing and quickly abandoned it for nonfiction writing. I was a journalist on death row. I wrote for blogs, magazines. I was a content manager, editor, pretty much everything but writing novels, which is what I really wanted to do. I did end up having 4 nonfiction books published, health and wellness. They were so successful that you have literally never heard of them. So that's super fun. But I really always wanted to write novels. So at the time, a couple years ago, I guess it was 2016. It's all a blur. I don't even know where I am right now. But at the end of 2016, I was working 3 jobs. I co-owned a gym. I was the content manager for a corporation, and I did some traveling for them. And then I don't even remember what the quote unquote role was. It was like an editor for a Chicago magazine as well. And I was on a work trip, and I had kind of been thinking about writing this story about a reverse kidnapping. I love the idea of taking something that we all fear and is a very black and white subject and just kind of turning it on its head. And I was really, really paying attention to parent-child behavior since I had become a parent myself. And I was in an airport, and I witnessed this exchange between a mother and daughter. This little girl, she was in a red bow with a red dress and red shoes, and she looked so adorable. She wasn't doing anything, and her mother was this like she was so tired. She was like over fatigued. She was overweight. She had these kind of like ruddy cheeks and had a toddler on her hip, and her husband who was oblivious to how she was acting. And my first inclination when she snapped at her daughter and was like pushing her and pulling her was to be like, oh, hey, I can empathize. We've all been there. And then as it went on, it just was completely uncalled for and very toxic. And I found myself thinking about this little girl. And I'd already had an idea for a novel. I knew the little girl in my story's name was going to be Emma. And this little girl's name was Emma. So I kind of took it as a sign to like, okay, I've got to write this story. I immediately went home. I quit 2 of my 3 jobs. I gave myself 8 weeks to write this story while I was still getting paid. I'm turning off the sound on my phone. While I was still getting paid, and I ended up writing the book in a month. It just kind of like poured out of me. So I'm going to get a little like power of intention on people here, but I knew when I wrote this story that it was getting published. I knew when I wrote this story that I was going to get it optioned for a movie. I know that sounds so crazy and like, I don't know, egotistical, and that's not how I mean it. I just, for the first time ever, I believed that this was going to happen. I was going to change my life. I'd already taken a huge risk by quitting my jobs. We were losing, most of our income. My corporate gig was coming to an end. That was the most money I'd ever made. And my husband and I had actually come off like a 3-year stint of really, really struggling financially. So I went all in. I didn't give myself a plan B. I did not think about it not getting published. I submitted to a very few agents, and I actually picked up I don't remember what it was, like a Writer's Digest or a Reader's Digest or something in the store, which I never normally do. And it was an edition on kind of like top new agents. And there was one in particular that I just honed in on. It was the only one from that magazine. And I emailed her, immediately got a full manuscript request, cannot speak. And very shortly after I was driving home, got an email, and it's terrible to admit that I checked my phone while I was driving, and it was an offer of representation. I immediately threw the phone because I didn't want to crash the car. Waited till I got home. Long story short, ended up signing with Rachel Beck, who is my incredible agent. She was an editor for 5 years, and she's been the most enthusiastic champion of this work. We worked together to revise it very quickly, and when I first submitted it to her, not her daughter was only told from Sarah, the kidnapper's perspective. We decided to add in the mother, Amy, who's one of my favorite characters because I think she's the most complex. So we added in her point of view, and I'm so glad we did. We pitched it to editors, and from there, we got 2 different offers, and then it went to auction, and I got a 2-book deal with St. Martin's Press, which was one of my dream publishers. Again, happened very fast and furious. It was the most exciting during that whole process, like the deal portion. I remember taking my daughter to the playground after school, meeting up with my friends, and like being on the phone, you know, negotiating with my agent, like what's going on? It was so exciting, but also life was going on. My daughter still had to go to school every morning. You know, I cooked dinner with my family. Like everything was still the same, but it was just so exciting. And not shortly after, but you know, the publication process is long. It's about a year until the book comes out. And I just always saw this book as a film. I knew it was going to be a movie. I just knew it. I wrote it like that. I wrote it kind of in these snapshot scenes. And I had a friend who knew a CEO of a production company, and we were pitching. I had a film agent. She was pitching to production companies, and this production company threw its hat into the ring, essentially, and amazing. I mean, they're an amazing production company. They've made incredible movies. They really put attention to the project that they're working on, which was really important to me, and they connected with the story and understood the book, and we signed a deal, and it's so exciting. I know that books take a while to get made, but I really have faith that they're going to get it done. So yeah, it's been incredible as I'm writing this. I'm not writing this. I'm saying this as I'm saying this. The book hasn't launched yet, but we're getting very close. By the time this goes live, maybe the book will already be out. But this is all to say, I know this sounds super cheesy, but if there is something that you want to do, just do it. I'm going to get all Nike on you. Say, just do it. If I had gone home and actually thought about how busy I was, I never would have written the book. I would have said, oh no, I've got too much. Like, I'll wait a couple months. I'll wait till things calm down. I'm just too busy. No, I did something irresponsible and quit 2 jobs, which I wouldn't advocate doing, but it has seriously changed my life. It's been the most incredible experience. I've met so many amazing authors. That's been the thing I've noticed the most. Authors are the most generous, kind, just collaborative people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. And my daughter just walked in without a shirt. That's totally okay. That's awesome. I'm doing a little interview. You need to your chest. See? Total normal life. After school activities. But yes, journey to publication has been awesome. The second book has been turned in. Will hopefully come out a year after Not Her Daughter, and hopefully we'll just keep going on and on from there.